All right, Josh Hampton here, Camping at the Hamptons YouTube channel. So I am going to get started, even though it snowed last night, on clearing out campsite number 2. So campsite number 1, if you go back and check out that video, you'll see part of that video is showing, I think, Brig, my son, pushing the cart up the path to get to that campsite. So I wanted to do the second campsite more accessible from the technically a forest road that comes in from the National Forest into the property, and then so that a vehicle can park right off of the road and then basically have a shorter distance walk to the campsite. Whereas the other one is it's not a far walk, but you know it's not right off of a driving path. So this part of the property is a little bit thin when it comes to the border between the creek and the property line with the National Forest, the George Washington National Forest. So I wasn't quite sure whether or not I would have a wide enough space to accommodate a campsite that would be comfortable, but I think that I found a spot right up here towards the road, and then it also just so happened to then give me the idea that it would be nice to have a campsite or two that are closer to the road for those that want to do the traditional, what I call park and dump camping, which is basically bring everything that you can in your car to make your life comfortable camping and then haul it to the campsite. So, which is totally fun. You can bring obviously a lot more things that way, a lot more creature comforts that way. But the further you are away from the road, obviously the less incentive you have to camp at that location. So the spot that I have figured out to use is right here off of the ATV trail. And there's a couple spots in here that are relatively flat. That's kind of the key, obviously, for the tent site itself. There is a flat spot over there that I think I'm going to make for the actual tent site, and it's already somewhat cleared out as well. So I just need to clear this here for the tent pad, and then that spot right there would be a nice spot for the fire ring and picnic table somewhere probably in between or something like that. So the other neat part about this spot that we'll get later in the video after we edit them together is some of the views of the creek are absolutely stunning from here. There's different spots of the creek that are more accessible due to the slope that goes down to the creek, and areas that are pretty inaccessible. This one here happens to be relatively accessible to the creek, so I'm going to be able to make a path kind of at an angle down to the creek bed straight from this campsite. So you'll be able to walk down. And then in the future, one of my projects of the 1,000 that I still need to do is create a walking path all the way along the base of the creek, so that foot traffic only, of course, will be able to walk all the way up and down that creek bed. So we're gonna get started on this here in a little bit. First things first, I'll probably get the backpack blower out, clear out the snow and leaves, and then I'll have to trim back some of this foliage here to clear out some safe spaces for a tent and also the picnic table and fire pit. The other thing that you have to take into consideration when making a campsite is the trees up above, which ones are leaning, which ones are dead, which ones are potential safety hazards. And so I'll need to take that up with a chainsaw and get some of these trees out of here that are dead and potentially cause for concern. So that's the intro to this building. Thank you to my beautiful wife for being camera lady today, and we'll get started on this campsite build.